What up, what up, what up, and welcome back to Pinoid News. Man, listen, so I wanted to stand here and bring y'all some content today. And if you noticed, I've been doing more live streams here recently. It's because, well, I'll be honest, like the live streams get way more views than the regular videos. And I don't want to be putting work in for a video that, like, people aren't gonna watch. If I'm gonna put like 4 hours of research into some nonsense, I'm gonna want, some views on the video. It just is what it is. I even made some animations for this one here today. So let's, stand here and like actually get into this, and have a conversation about things because I wanted to talk about inflation and immigration, right? Because if we're honest, they're both kind of linked, right? Along with retirement. So let's start this where this starts with the baby boomers, right? So the baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964, and they're a generation of people who are the largest generation that's ever been born in this country. And these people have had the ass on they had the world by the ass on a downhill pull for most of life, right? And what they did is they saved a whole bunch of cash, right? And when they saved a whole bunch of cash, what they ended up doing is they ended up standing here like, just throwing all this money into the bank. Well, here's the thing, this ends up acting like an inflationary thing, the same as the government, right? And you go, well, the government creates money out of thin air. Yes and no, right? The government takes taxes and it spends it on infrastructure. Like that's what it's supposed to do. Infrastructure and defense are the basic things of what government does. Whether it be, law enforcement or, building the road or whatever the case might be, right? And in doing so, what it does is it stands here and it gives us the opportunity to be able to make more wealth because of the fact that we're able to travel on roads. But the thing is, it doesn't allow us to spend any more cash. Now, you might be able to, like, bring more goods in that you can buy, but you're not able to spend any more money because you actually don't really have more. Now, this is what's known as actual wealth generation. Important to understand there's a big difference. Okay. It's a huge difference between, like standing here having wealth get created and standing here having wealth, just transferred to you. Now, with the baby boomers, they stored all that money up inside of the banks, right? And inside of the stock market and things of that nature. And what they ended up doing is they left it there and it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew through, investment and all these type of things and massive amounts of them, actually sitting here, having a big ass share of, the market, right? In the end of the day. Important to understand, when it comes down to it, very kind of important to understand, right? So this here is United States versus the rest of the world, market share, right? As far as the world equity market, like stocks, stock ownership, things of this nature, right? This is the ownership of the US equity market, right? The blue, right, is households, right? The light blue over here is like 4%. That's business holdings. Okay. 22% right here. This is mutual funds. Okay. The pink is pension and government retirements. The foreign investors is a 16%. The rest of this is all just made up of like hedge funds and other things of this nature. That's actual like corporations. But for the most part, this big chunk of the pie is basically all retirements, right? That's important to understand. Now, the percentage of Americans who have been becoming retired here recently, as you notice from 2005, 2011, didn't move a whole lot. But from 2011 to 2020, it went up kind of exponentially, right? And in doing so, it created massive amounts of fucking people who are retired, right? Percentage of the US population, the baby boomer trend. And then on top of that, a little bit more, right? Because people just basically retired after some shit, okay? So what this did was it created a ton of people who were able to consume massive amounts of goods because they were withdrawing all those funds that they put into the bank. Right. Again, this has massive inflationary pressures because all that money was basically in a box that they didn't touch and it wasn't taxed. And then they brought it back out and now they're buying goods, which ends up causing tons of inflation. Right now. Okay, this is the change in US wages over time. This is 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. We're going to get into a lot of things here today. Try to pay attention. You can keep up. Wages went up 5.1% in the year 2022. Okay. Important to understand. Remember, put that shit in your brain. Okay. This is the cost. This is the unit labor cost manufacturing for the total United States, right? This is 1970 going up 1990, comes down in the 2010s. Look at this 2000. Remember this 2000 to 2015, the wages pretty much stayed completely flat and then went up till towards 2020. All right. Now, employment cost index and core PCE inflation. That's percentage. Percentage? Man, listen, percentage cost employment, right? So basically, see this 2010 to 2020 was pretty flat, and then it went up in 2020 because all the boomers hit mass retirement. So a lot of people left the labor force, right? Employment cost index. This is the ECI, right? Notice this. You know what I'm saying? It's coming down 2009, the whole type of thing right here, right? I want to, drop a lot of graphs on you, know what I'm saying? A lot of evidence so that you have it. You can grab it, use it, ECI, civilian workers' wages, this is employment compensation, whatever, right? Employment cure, ECI is employment cure, man, listen, what is it? Core cost index. I'm sorry, employment cost index, civilian workers wages, 12-month average. Notice pretty flat between, even went down 2015, right? Massive spike 2022, right? This is where some of this inflation is coming from. Again, same thing, but a lot of this is literally like people were out of the labor force. Okay, highly important to understand. Number of unauthorized immigrants in the United States. Now, where did it peak? It peaked in 2005, right? But it was going up massively from 2000 to 2005. What does this do? This drops the cost of labor. Remember how I showed you that, like wages were stagnant in this fucking period right here, right? There was another one that was like a fucking bigger graph. Hang on, where's it at? And listen, I got lots of graphs here, right? Okay, here, this is 09. Look. See how like it's going down from 2000? See to go down from 2000? This is massive amounts of fucking immigration coming in, dropping these fucking wages. Okay. This is how they handle these type of things. These are illegal border encounters, right? 1980 spike, 2000 massive spike. It goes down to the 2010s, right? And then goes back up in 2020, okay, or after 2020. Why? Because they're trying to arrest inflation by arresting the amount of fucking immigrants, right? Or by fucking rising the amount of immigration. The amount of immigrants who came into the country 1990 to 2015, these are all estimates, okay? So the highest estimate, there are 35 million illegal immigrants inside of the United States, undocumented workers, as it were, right? That's a lot. You know what I mean? The low end, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, look, you know what I'm saying? Currently widely accepted estimate. You notice how the widely accepted estimate is way different than everybody else's fucking estimate? Right? Like, they always do think that's really good for fucking business. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, right? Okay. This is illegal border encounters. I think we already looked at this graph, to be perfectly honest with you. American births versus illegal immigrant births. This is a fucking awesome fucking little thing right here. October 2019 through October 2023, there's actually more illegal immigrants being born right now than there are motherfucking Americans native in the country being born at the moment. That may be a massive problem coming down the fucking road in the end of the day, right? You know what I'm saying? That may be something that we want to have a conversation with. All right, this is the amount of illegals, right? Fucking who were encountered, right here. Right, Obama 2.3 million, Obama 3.6 million, Trump up 1.5 more million, Biden up 1.7 million. Probably actually Biden I think's up like 6 million at the moment. Right. Here's some more fucking cool graphs. This is the most awesome graph. You want to grab a screenshot of this. This is fucking super interesting. 2000 to 2013, a native counted for the most increase in the working age population, 16 to 65, but all the employment gains went to immigrants in the millions. Look at this. The increase in number of people working, 5.3 million, negative 1.3 million native workers. But there's a 16.4 increase in working age population. Fucking crazy, right? This is insane ass little graphs right here, right? Okay. Illegal immigration versus job openings. Okay. So these are the amount of job openings over time, right? There was actually less job openings than immigrants who came in, and this is where wages were massively flat, right? You see this, right? And again, we're having the same problem where they want to arrest wages. When they want to arrest wages, right? And by the way, this is what led to, what I'm saying, the 2008 collapse, the 2002 or the 2002 through 2007 fucking point where you had more fucking illegals coming in than you had motherfucking jobs open, right? So that what ended up happening was is you end up having a bunch of people who needed fucking jobs, right? Or who, had their jobs lay them off, or ended up having having to accept lower wages when they had massive amount of debt that they had already taken out on these houses. And the entire thing was like a house of fucking cards. Basically, the houses were debt instead of assets. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what ended up happening. And the same thing's happening right now. We will pay the price for this. You know what I'm saying? We will 100% pay the price for this, because that's just how shit works. In the end of the day, that's just legitimately, that's how shit fucking works. Right. Okay. So next one here. Where do immigrants work? The vast majority of fucking illegals work in motherfucking the services, right? Services and construction and production, right? So they're not actually doing like a lot of farming, right? At the end of the day, they're not doing like a lot of this nonsense. What they're doing is they're doing administrative jobs, they're doing construction jobs, and they're doing fucking service sector jobs. These are jobs, you know what I'm saying, where like, for instance, working at retail, working in working as landscapers, working as being roofers, and all these type of things. These are the jobs that illegals are fucking actually taking, and these are decent blue collar fucking jobs that Americans used to do when they were just high school graduates. That way you didn't have to go to college and take out a massive amount of debt. And if you think of the economy as a food web, right, what ends up happening is basically you have a massive amount of added pressure from like the lower fucking predators, right, in the food web, which is forcing everybody else up the motherfucking food web. It's forcing them up into the ecosystem to try and eat bigger things. And a lot of people aren't able to do so because they're just not, that size of predator. That's just kind of where shit is at the moment. Highly important to understand. All right. And then, percentage of population 18 and motherfucking older. Or this is just retirees, right? Percentage of populations who are retirees. Where the hell are we at? Percentage of population retired. We are getting close to 20% at this point. We're probably actually past 20% of the population who is actually fucking retired. So, all these graphs, what's all this mean? Basically, here's the premise. You have inflation because of the fact that you have the boomers retiring, right? And they're leaving the workforce. And when they're leaving the workforce, and at the same time, the cost of labor in places like China has gone up, 55-fold, right? Since the year 2000. And they're actually making more money than like the fucking average Mexican. And there's actually like whispers out here that I've heard that they're making more money than the average American. They're running out of population. And then the boomers are retiring. And then the boomers retiring, it's ending up opening up a whole bunch of like positions that people used to do for nothing because they bought their house for a blue number 2 from motherfucking Uno and a get out of jail free card from Monopoly. And they didn't really have to make a fucking profit. They didn't have to make a lot of fucking money. And in all of this happening, what ended up happening is you end up having all of, these positions, people aren't willing to take them for the wages that like the boomers used to make. And the boomers are, collecting massive amounts of capital so they don't have to go back into the fucking workforce because they have all these 401ks and retirements and social security to rely on, right? Which is driving, demand. And on the other side, you have employment going up. So what does the government do? The government's, well, like if these people don't want to take the jobs for the money that these fucking corporations are offering, we'll fucking stand here and bring in illegals to do these fucking jobs. And we'll try to keep inflation down because you know what? Boomers and women vote. And that's what they care about. They don't actually care about whether or not they're earning enough money because they'd much rather rely on the government to be able to provide for them. And women are much more likely to work in offices and not actually ask for a raise. That's kind of where things are at the moment. That's, where everything is looking at. And this is important to understand. All these things are important to motherfucking like comprehend and get and, pay attention to, because it's not actually something that, how do I put this? This is all things that the government has done before, right? This is in their bag of tricks. This isn't about like replacing you as a voter, right? They don't really give a fuck about that. They don't really care, right? Because the government's still going to be in charge tomorrow. They don't fucking care. The government's still going to be the government, right? What they want to do is be able to make sure that they have a workforce that they can fucking utilize that isn't going to ask for a lot of money long term so they can continue to have the fucking, the retirements work. So everything remains stable. That's what it is. This is literally all about money and nothing the fuck else. This is the problem that nobody wants to really fucking address. This is the problem that nobody wants to have a conversation about at all. You know what I'm saying? Right? And that's where everything's at in the end of the day. That's what's going on. This has nothing to do with like fucking replacing you as a voter. It has nothing to do with replacing you as a population. It has nothing to do with they don't like white people. This has nothing to do with that. That's all side marker nonsense, right? That's all like, garbage on the background, right? But like real shit, what this is them standing here going, listen, we want cheap labor so that we can keep making money. This is all they give a fuck about. We want to be able to tell people, yeah, you're going to be able to retire because you know what? We'll just keep the wages down. We'll replace you with motherfucking robots. They don't really give a shit. They don't fucking care about black and white and whatever. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck at all. They don't care in any way whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is what the fuck it is that these motherfuckers really want. At the end of the day, this is all the fuck that they care about. Real shit. This is it. Right here is this, right? Get your money, get the fuck home, get your bag. This is all they fucking care about. Legit. This is their entire fucking motif. Is get your fucking bag, son. No, I'm saying get your fucking bag. Right? That's all the fuck they give a fuck about. Get the bag. Get the bag, get the bag, get the bag, get the fucking bag. That's all anybody gives a shit about. You know, saying like, as long as they can sit here and just keep getting the bag over and over and over and over again, that's all that matters. This is it. This is the entire fucking motif. This is the whole fucking nine. Legit. They've never given a fuck. Right? Like real shit. They have never, ever, 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 ever given a fuck about their people. They don't care about their culture. They don't care about their fucking community. They don't care about their family, right? They don't give a shit about morality. They don't give a fuck about any of this shit, right? All these politicians that come and talk all that fucking good body nonsense about the fucking government, about the like fucking, about the law and about like motherfucking culture and about like national pride and about like fucking, systems and all this nonsense. They don't give a fuck. They care about getting the bag. This is it. This is their entire shit. This is all anybody's ever cared about, bruh. This is it. This is everything they've ever given a shit about. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me. They don't give a fuck about anybody. And I was talking to a dude last night, right? And I'm gonna keep this 100, right? I was talking with this guy last night, and in talking with this guy last night, we were talking about motherfucking like his we're talking about like motherfucking what was it goddamn authority, right? And I said the government has authority because the government has authority. He's like, no, the government has authority because I allow them to have authority. You allow them to have authority. And I was like, listen, bro, listen. I'm gonna keep this 100 with you, okay? A tiger in the wild has authority over how you live, right? Because like it can kill you, right? Like you're not defeating a Bengal tiger, right? In the fucking wild. Like that's just how it works. You're not gonna beat nature, right? And this is why, like, I love Jenner with his nature guy shit. Like, you're not gonna beat it, right? The government has like the ability like to have a drone above your fucking house and strike you, and you can't stop them. They don't have authority because like we grant them that shit. They have authority because they have authority. It's that simple. It's that basic. Like, it's because they can, right? You can't stop them, right? If they fucking come up to you, right, and they have 5 guys and even one of them has a gun, there's nothing you can do, right? If whatever they're going to take from you, whether it be your pride, your life, or your fucking booty hole, son, they're going to do it because you can't stop them. This is what it is, right? And this is kind of like the whole point. Like these motherfuckers, all they give a shit about is their money. And there's no way for you to really stop it. I mean, like, Because the average human being has been told that the most important thing you can do in life is be productive and make money. And that's it. That's the entire value of a human life in our entire society is money. What makes you matter? What car you drive, what type of house you live in, your fucking khakis. That's what matters. And if you stand here and try to disrupt that, these motherfuckers will fight you. They will fucking scream and and yell, and you will fucking go to jail behind some shit you didn't do 100% of the time. I promise you, at some point, I will be too. It is what it is. Because anybody who fights against this system, anybody who tries to expose the system, anybody who stands here and brings you the truth will be put down one way or another. Because people don't care. People don't give a fuck in any way. They don't give a shit. This is the reality. Don't get anything misunderstood. We're not here to fix it or change it. I'm just here to let you know why it's happening. That's it. That way, maybe, just maybe, you can avoid the bullshit at some point. Real shit. You can avoid shit. That is the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Y'all, look. I just want to drop this video on y'all. I'm going to go and get some exercise in, man. You know what I'm saying? Eat some proper food before I go to work tonight and make some fucking money. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace be like one. I'm out.